Alright, here we are to check day 1 of our lemon whey ferment. It does have some foaminess on the top. I'm going to give it a stir. It still smells lemony. It doesn't really smell fermented, so I think I'm definitely going to let it go at least until tomorrow morning. So check back tomorrow to see where we end up. Good morning. I have another day that this needs to be a quick preservation. I have kind of just some random stuff from the garden. I've got some blueberries that we had pulled the bird netting, a couple weeks ago, I think, a week or two ago. And they haven't been eating them as quickly as we thought they would, and I didn't realize how many blueberries we still had coming on. I'm going to see my grandkids today, so they love blueberries, so I am going to take these with me. I do have some tomatillos coming on, and I don't have a lot of uses for them, so if you have any favorite things that you like to do with tomatillos, let me know. I will have a bunch. I've got green and purple. Okay, the blueberries are kind of intermixed with some tomatoes, so I will stick them in this bag as I come across them. I've got the dehydrator out here. I am going to just work my way through this randomness of things. So I'm going to dehydrate the tomatoes. They are kind of fun. I like to dehydrate them and store them dried. But the way I use dehydrated tomatoes, well, for one thing, they're actually really good just to snack on. If you put a little like garlic powder and Italian seasoning, you can just eat them like a snack. They're delicious. But the other way that I like to use them is I store them dry. I don't store them the way I'm getting ready to tell you that I use them. I store them dry, but when I'm ready for them, I rehydrate them in olive oil. I will put them in a jar with some olive oil and throw it in I usually leave it out on the counter for a few hours till they get leathery and soft. Not completely rehydrated, which I don't think they would do in olive oil anyways, but just leathery. And then I just throw it in the fridge, and they are so good, like sun-dried tomatoes. So I will use them in that application. Throw them on a sandwich, throw them on a pizza. Really yummy that way. Normally this time of year we're still just enjoying fresh eating tomatoes, but I have had quite a few come on. Not a huge amount yet, but more than what we are currently eating fresh. And I don't want them to go to waste, so I'm throwing them on the dehydrator. The reason I like this challenge is because the point of the Three Rivers Every Bit Counts challenge is to just do something every day. Every day towards your food preservation, food security, using up your bounty, whatever it is that is driving you to just do a little bit each day. And, I've had a fairly busy week this week, and we have made a point of still getting it done. So, do I have some big canning projects coming up that I need to do that will require more time? Absolutely. I need to get my apple pie filling made. I think I'm going to be doing that on Sunday. And that will be a bigger undertaking than, cutting up vegetables for the dehydrator. But this is quick. This is easy. It was the perfect thing I needed for today. So, and if you're planning on coming back, looking for a finished Friday video, that will probably be posted later on today. I have lots of good stuff to show you for the week on the crochet side of things, but I am busy the first part of the day. And I think we're going to go pick some more blackberries today too. So technically that would also be part of this day's Every Bit Counts challenge. Because picking blackberries is definitely counts as doing something towards our food preservation for wintertime. Let me know in the comments if you are a food preserver. And I am always curious as to the why. Like, for me, I just grew up in a house where this was kind of what we did this time of year. Ooh, that landed right where it needed to go. You know, it's not about necessarily prepping or prepping for anything catastrophic. You know, it's, you know, everybody wants to have a good security, financial security, food security. You know, they say to have 3-6 months of your income saved up. That doesn't always have to mean cash money. It can mean having enough food that if you experienced an injury or a layoff or natural disasters, that you have. So I do this even with the cherry tomatoes, and they work great. You know, there's a lot of reasons to make sure you have a decent food supply built up. If you don't have a garden, you know, there's farmers markets. If you don't have a lot of time, you know, double the dinner that you're making that night and throw one of them in the freezer. Just little things. It doesn't have to be crazy 100-jar canning days or, you know, buying case lots of food. Just little things add up. And that is why I like this challenge. These cherry tomatoes are rinsed, but a lot of them still have their stems on. Okay, so let me show you what I've got here. Kind of. Oh, the cherry tomatoes are going to roll. But this will be tomatoes. I'm going to leave these ones plain. As we get further on in the season, I probably will go ahead and season some with the garlic powder and Italian seasoning like I had said. Let's see, I've also got some peppers here from the garden. And I'm just going to throw them on here as well. Since they are things that I don't care if the flavors blend, I'm just going to run them in the same dehydrator. Because I don't have any issue whatsoever with my peppers or tomatoes taking on the flavor of one another. I often use them together. In fact, we had a roasted red pepper tomato soup just a couple nights ago with grilled cheese sandwiches for dinner. Kind of playing this by ear. I've got 2 or 3 tubs like this that just have miscellaneous stuff that I've picked over the last few days. But I just wanted to fill the dehydrator this morning, so we'll see how many of those I can chisel away at in the amount of time that I have available. And I can tell you, back to the reasons to preserve, I can tell you there is something very satisfying. You know, my husband hunts as well, and there is something satisfying about everything you put on the table coming from you. It is a wonderful feeling. We live in an area where we experience pretty frequently power outages, highway closures that kind of isolate our town And, you know, when those kinds of things happen and I don't have to worry, I don't have to panic, it's a really nice feeling. You know, if unexpected bills come up and we're a little more strapped financially, or just, you know, funds that maybe would need to be would normally be in our grocery budget need to be allocated towards other things. You know, we always have that option. So it's not always about, you know, prepping for a zombie apocalypse. But the more common reasons are the more common reasons. Work injury, illness, financial changes, natural disasters. Or, you know, you just have a garden and you don't want it to go to waste. Okay, I'm going to pause this. I'll keep going here. Maybe I'll unpause it when I get to the next tub if I make it to another one, and just give you an update. Okay, so I'm on my last tray and I'm doing onions and they're making me cry. So it occurred to me, I'm going to try a bit of an experiment. A little less chopping now. I just kind of sliced it in half to get these like half circle arcs, I guess. And I am going to see how they dry. They'll dry until they're brittle, I'm sure, just like our diced does. But what I'm wondering is if I could just like crumple them up after, probably wouldn't make me cry. And, you know, this takes less time too. So this is the first time I've tried this. So let's see. It'll be an experiment. I don't know why it never occurred to me to do this, because I'm sure it's going to work just fine. They might even be yummy, crunchy on, you know, as little slivers like this on hamburgers and stuff, kind of like when they put the French fried onions on there that are amazing. Even though these will be slightly overlapped, I'm going to go ahead and cut this last one up and put it on here, because the way they're lying, they're not like super stuck to one another. I think there will still be plenty of airflow, and I can check it partway through the day, and if it looks like they need to be stirred or rearranged in some way, I can do that then. So I just cut it in half, lay it on the cut edge, and then I am just cutting these half rings. I could probably dehydrate a full slice, but I just figured it'll go faster if I break the segments apart. Most stuff will dry if you give it enough time. But yeah, these are making me cry, and they're sweet onion. So we will just see how we do here. If I can eliminate any amount of chopping, that would be good. I had thought about running them through my food processor just on the chop, but I'm afraid they would get just a little bit finer than I want them to be. I don't think I have as much control, even on a low setting. Alright, this will finish off our last tray, and I will get it plugged in outside. And this, it's funny, this dehydrator, I might not have gave it a fair shake last year. As I mentioned in an earlier video, I didn't like it. I had tried dehydrating a few different things. I did some blueberries on it, and it did okay. I did fruit leather, that was horrible. The outside corners were still liquidy when the center was cracking because it was so dry. So I kind of put it away and just thought, well, we probably won't use that. I even offered it to a friend that needed a dehydrator because I thought it would be fine for the application she wanted it for. But I have been using it as the designated onion dehydrator. Sorry, I'm crying. And I've actually been enjoying it. So I might not have gave it a fair shake. It's been working great for what we've used it for so far. So yeah, I'm kind of glad I still have it. So I'm going to get this going, and you know, we'll probably throw it in some jars tomorrow, I'm guessing. And I'm going to let you go because my eyes are on fire. The Sandor Cats giveaway, I will link a video, or I will link the video you can enter that giveaway in the description of this video. We are giving away his book, Fermentation Journeys, on September 1st to anybody who comments on that video, likes that video, and subscribes to the channel. Have a great day.